All right, we are recording, so everything you said will be held against you. And so let's pull up the handy dandy and do this. I'm intentionally going slow today because I don't think we should meet on Fridays. That's it. I think the dumbest thing in the world is going from Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What do y'all think? That way you have Friday off, you can work, you can spend time with the family if they're not in DSS. You know, you can have fun. But oh, hell no. At Tri-County, if it ain't broke, you got to fix it. You got to do something to it. Okay, I'll shut up. Data collection. What is statistics? Well, statistics is that. Now, I'm just going to give you an easy definition. Okay? Obtaining, calculating, and interpreting data. That's all you need to know. Obtaining, that means by survey. Calculating what you surveyed, calculating the numbers, and saying, what is this telling me? Interpreting. For those that can't spell interpret, what is this saying? Okay? Now that is uppercase, capitalized statistic. Make sure you write down capitalized. Somebody look up what is when one word has several meanings. I don't know what that's called, but uppercase statistic is the science of obtaining, calculating, and interpreting data. That's uppercase statistic. So you need to take your highlighter out and highlight that big S right there. Lowercase statistic, I'll get to that in just a minute. You're being very smart. You brought your notebook, didn't you? Yeah. I tell students to do that with 103, 155, and 120. And they interchange. You don't have to write any notes. That's smart. Okay? All right, I'm not going to, if you want to write that, knock yourself out. You like chains and whips, knock yourself out, but you don't have to write all that. Just make sure you understand obtaining, calculating, and interpreting. What is a population? A BA group. That's pretty simple, right? A BA group, big attitude group. I can't say ass because that's a donkey. So I have to say big attitude. Evidently, some people don't like donkeys. Okay? A big attitude group. A good example, let's use an example. Tri-County Technical College. That would be a population. If I was to say, okay, that's too big of a population for me to deal with, so I'm going to pull up just Pendleton campus, then that would be a sample. Because the sample is always what compared to the population? Smaller. Write that down. Sample is always smaller. Now, anything having to do with the population is called a parameter. Write that down. Anything having to do with the population is a parameter. And a parameter is usually a variable used in the formula like a Greek letter. Mu and sigma. And you'll get to that in a little bit. So, a population has a parameter. What is smaller than a population? A sample. And write that down. And here's where the other word statistic comes into play. I told you that a population has a parameter, right? Meaning mu or sigma. A sample has a lowercase statistic, like X bar or S. want that. Hold on, something's... I have to deal with this stuff a lot because I'm the only person that knows how to work some of these boards, and the IT department don't really know how to use them either, so I have to fix them all the time. And I don't know why this one is not... There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Sorry. There. Back. There we go. Sorry about that. So I'm going to write out here. That's not even supposed to be on, but a sample is smaller and it uses statistics. And this thing is, oh God, what a surprise, the battery's dead. T-Rex, freaking college. And a statistic is a variable, and that's driving me crazy because that's not even supposed to be on. A statistic is a variable used in formulas for the sample, and that is usually X bar and S for the standard deviation. Okay? So a population uses a parameter. A parameter is a variable used in the formula, Greek letters, and mu and sigma. Actually, that's lowercase sigma. Uppercase sigma is summation. But we'll get to that later. Now again, why do you need to know this? Well, not only for standardized testing in my test, you need to also know it because whenever you're in the real world and somebody presents a report to you and they throw up X bar, you know that has to do with the what? The sample. If they throw up mu, that means it has to do with the what? So it's kind of a tool to help you not sound ignorant, okay, when you ask a question in a meeting. Okay, that's why nobody's expecting you to walk out of this room and be able to do research statistics. Nobody. But in 155 and 103 and in this class, when you go into a meeting after you graduate wherever, you would be able to discern between the population and the sample by just what letters we're using. Do you understand? So it's important that you learn it not only for the test, my test, but you need to learn it for standardized tests, and then you need to know for just general knowledge. Okay? I got any questions on that? You'd be surprised on how many people get confused on which is which and why. I guarantee you some people have sat through a whole probability course and not know what a parameter is or a statistic. Lowercase. It's just the variables used. Write that down. Now, I'm going to tell, well, don't write it down. Write down the word because I'm not going to tell you to write all that down. A descriptive statistic, let's see, consists of organizing and summarizing data, blah, 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 blah. Okay? You get the data. Write that down. In descriptive statistics, you obtain the data. What does that mean? That means you physically go out and ask people in the parking lot, do you drive a white vehicle? You either drive a white vehicle or you don't drive a white vehicle. And you asked 100 people and then you crank that math out. Okay? That is descriptive statistics. Now somebody read inferential and tell me what that is compared to descriptive. Inferential, somebody else does the footwork. What do you mean? Well, let's say you go out to DOT, or I'm sorry, Department of Motor Vehicles, and you ask them, how many people died in 2019 from drunk driving? Or you go to the website. Is that inferential or descriptive? Why? Because you didn't do it. DMV did it. Or they kept the records. That's basically the difference. Now, you can get more technical with it, but you're not going into a third semester research, so I'm not worried about that. You got to build up to that. If you get into 301, 311 at Clemson, then yes, we will get more into it. But if you're going to be sitting in a meeting and you want to know the difference between the two, that's it. One, you obtain the data. The other one, somebody else obtained the data. Oh, and there's a parameter. Numerical summary of a population. Greek letter, mu, and sigma. Now, if I spend a lot of time on a subject, what does that mean? It's important. If I skip a slide or I say that's stupid, that means we're not going to worry about it. Capiche? Now, you might see it in your homework. One thing that I skip over census. Why do I skip over a census? Because everybody knows what? Everybody knows what a census is. I'm not going to go over a census and ask y'all that on a test because everybody knows what that is. And if you don't, that's really sad. Okay? You only do it every 10 years. And why do they ask these questions? Because it's a conspiracy. That's why. No, they ask it so we can make up precincts and voting areas, so we can decide where federal monies need to be. I don't know. There's all kinds of application for census. All right? No, it's a conspiracy. The government's trying to do something. Just like chemtrails are going to kill us all. Where do people come up with this stuff? I wonder. No, nothing. Absolutely no reaction whatsoever. Are y'all dead? Y'all just don't want to communicate, do you? Huh? You tired? Okay. You work? Where you work? Kohl's? I never go there. If it's not at the 24 Ingles or the 24 Walgreens or Amazon, I don't go because I don't want to be put in jail. Why would I be put in jail? Because I'll hit somebody. I ain't kidding you. People are stupid. Yeah. And my daddy told me a long time ago, if you get a temper up real easy, don't be around people. And I'm finding that out. I'm not going to go through all this. Y'all can let's go back so you can pause the video. Let's do that. All right, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Okay, I'm going to hold that on 1, 2, 3 so you can pause the video and pause the video. I'm not going to go through all this. This is just like the scientific rule. State what you're trying to do and all that. I'm not going to quiz you on that. I'm not going to test you on that. And I don't think a standardized test is going to say, what is the third rule of practice of statistics? Nobody's going to ask you that, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but that's enough time for you to pause the video if you want to go back and look at it, okay? For that one person that's going to use the videos. Same thing there. I'm not going to go that. We're going to do some examples. I'm not worried about it. Out there, variables, key point. Variables, y'all know what variables are. They're what's used in formulas. Okay, here we go. Test question, standardized test question, and it's very important for you to know if you're in a presentation or given a presentation. Qualitative or quantitative. What's the old saying about quality and quantity? You want quality, not what? Quantity. Write that down. You want quality, not quantity. Quality is how good something is, or something to do with a category. Blondes, brunettes, and what? Redheads. Write that down. Because that is what? Qualitative data. Blondes, brunettes, and wedheads. I look like a wet head if I get my hair cut, about to drive me crazy. Okay? Blondes, brunettes, and wetheads. That's categorical. How about blue eyes, brown eyes, and green eyes? Qualitative. Write that down. Because those are categories. What's distinguishable by eye color? Well, green eyes, only 2% of the population. Brown eyes, they're just very attractive. That's all there is to it. I don't know what about blue eyes. That's a joke. Y'all ain't got no sense of humor, but anyway. Quantitative. What does quantity mean? Numbers. Amount, exactly. Write that down. Numbers. Numbers, you divide into classes. Think of wrestling and boxing and martial arts. Well, not necessarily martial arts, but what do they divide wrestling and boxing into? Wait, what? Classes. Remember, quantitative data is divided into classes. Qualitative data is divided into categories. Write that down because that is very important. They may have that up there too. I don't know. I didn't read it. So how about what color car you drive? Okay, well that's qualitative data because it's color. Now you could put a number on that, but you can also put a number on blondes, brunettes, and redheads. Calculate that in your phone right quick. Okay? Next. I ain't going to do that. You can, okay, there's some examples right there. Nationality, qualitative, because you can't count it. What do you mean? You can count people. Yeah, you can count the people, okay, but you can't. Okay, let me ask you this. Somebody take the square root of nationality. What do you get? All right, ask yourself that question every single time. Square root of blondes. Can't do it. Square root of brown eyes. Can't do it. Square root of a height. Yes, you can take the square root of 6 foot. You can take the square root of 3 foot. You take the square root of 4 foot. Square root of 4 is 2. You see what I'm saying? That's how you discern whether it's categorical, which means quantitative, qualitative, or quantitative. You can take the square root of it. Household income. Can you take the square root of $50,000? So it's quantitative. It's that simple. But I guarantee you, some of y'all that's never had, some of y'all that's had probability, there's no teacher that's ever said, take the square root of it. Think about it. Take the square root of a shoe size. 10 foot, or 10 foot. Dang. 10. Can you take the square root of 10? It's qualitative data, the quantitative data. Okay? See, this stuff is not difficult. But if you want me to make it difficult, I can make it difficult by giving y'all a bunch of words that y'all don't know and making myself feel good about myself. I can do that. Okay? You call me doctor, damn it. All right? I'm not even a doctor, so just call me Hubert, all right? All right, here's the second most important. Discrete and continuous. You only got to write down one word for each. Just ignore that. Okay? Discrete, count. Continuous, measure. That's it. You don't have to write all that stuff. Somebody give me an example of something discrete. I'm sorry, I heard what?
Number of children.
Number of children, exactly. Think of eggs. Counting eggs. That's counting children. I can only count to 2 on children. Somebody tell me I was going to have another child, I think I'd just leave. 2 is enough. For these people that's got 5 or 6, Lord have mercy. I don't know how people do it. 3, Same way. I can't. There's no way. Continuous is, somebody give me continuous. Good job. Wow, I got to sit down. I'm not expecting people to actually know this stuff. Okay, you must have read. Well, you're the one. You're the one that read. Okay? Somebody give me another. The reason I want more of continuous is because when I put continuous on a test, y'all miss it. So give me another. She said height. Weight. Let's see. There it goes. Speed. Good. Always remember this. I'm going to talk to the ladies now. When you go to the doctor and you get on the scale, what is different about the doctor's scale and your scale at home? The doctor's scale, what? Is broken, right? Why? Because it's inaccurate. The scale at your house is more accurate, right? That's why. Think of that. Always remember that. Doctor scale, home scale. Why is measured continuous? Because every time you measure something, you could get a different what? A different result. If I go out there and tell you to measure the fire hydrant, and I come in here with a box of measuring devices, whether they be infrared, whether they be a pull type, whether they be a cloth, whether they be a yardstick. I'll give you a whole box, and each person is supposed to pick one measuring device, go downstairs, find that fire hydrant right down there in the parking lot, and I want you to measure it and tell me what the height is of that fire hydrant. How many different answers will I get? Well, there's 30 people, I only get 15 answers. Why? Because 15 of y'all don't know how to read a measuring tape. Okay? So I will get 15 answers. The 15 answers, I'll get 15 different answers. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I'm going to pick somebody out. I'll pick you out. She goes down there. What's your last name?
Mine?
Yes.
Carver.
Carver?
Mm-hmm.
Carver. Miss Carver goes down and she says, this guy's stupid. I don't want to do this. So she goes down there and she just puts it on the ground and she measures up to the top. She just eyeballs it. 3 foot. It's really 3 foot 6 inches, but she just says 3 foot. And she writes down 3 foot and she brings it back up here. Okay? What's your last name?
Coalition.
Say again?
Coalition.
Oh, yeah, I had to pick that one. All right. So Miss Covalicious, them damn Ukrainians, they're into everything. I tell you what. They're in a conspire with the Russians. Okay. She goes down and she, being a Ukrainian, she decides that she's going to get an accurate measurement. So she goes out and gets her shovel out of her car and she digs down under the fire hydrant and finds where the metal meets the water pipe. Everybody with me? And she measures from there to the top and she gets 4 foot 2 inches. You see why you get two different, okay? Not to mention, she's using a yardstick and she's using a pull type. There's all kinds of different variables that go into measuring something. Remember the doctor's scale versus your scale at home. Always remember that. And remember what can be measured. Remember, meters, liters, grams. What is meters? Distance. What is liters? Volume. What is grams? Meters, liters, grams. Now, I would do the feet, yards, and miles, but that don't fit as well as meters, liters, grams. See, this stuff is not hard. Next. Okay, look at there. Look what she did. She said number of children. She's already seen this. Did you watch the videos? Oh, you just guessed. Okay. What?
It was on the slides before.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I suck then. Daily intake of whole grains. What is that? Is that weight? Yes, so it's continuous. But I will put a question on the test, and half of y'all will get it wrong. I don't understand. Y'all tell me what it is in class, and then when I put it on test, y'all go stupid. I don't know what y'all do. I mean, I sit there and I say, count eggs, count number of children. That's discrete. And then I tell y'all, and then y'all go to the test and y'all just screw it up. It's a conspiracy. We've already talked about that. Qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative are in what? Categories. Quantitative is in classes, but you have to discern whether you're talking about measurements or you're talking about counting. Now, I'm going to go through this. Let's see if they give us the graphic. No, they don't. I thought they were going to give us a graphic, but they're not. So I'm going to go back and just give you these two. Nominal, write down nominal, ordinal, and the next two are interval and ratio. Poor old Horatio. Of course, y'all have no idea what that is because y'all don't watch Andy Griffith. So I've been watching Andy Griffith all my life because I love that show. It's one of my favorite TV shows. Of course, it was made before I was born, but I love that show. So I guess that probably makes me a terrorist and a racist too. So y'all know being a veteran and being NRA card holder, you're a racist and a veteran. I mean, a terrorist. Just want to make sure y'all understand that. So y'all might want to drop my class because I'm a racist and a terrorist. Nominal. What is nominal? Nominal is pretty much everything. Write down everything pretty much. All right? Blondes, brunettes, and redheads. I can make that nominal because I can count it and I can put it in order. What's the most? Let's say brunettes. Brunettes are going to be the most. Blondes are going to be second. Redheads are going to be last. Okay? I ain't never seen a classroom full of redheads. Just like I ain't never going to see a class full of green-eyed people. That's just the way. Now, I hate to offend anybody, but that's the way it is. How many green-eyed, red-headed people you've seen today? Not many. But I guess I offended somebody. Ordinal. What's the only word you got to remember with ordinal? Order. Think of a race. No matter what kind of race you think of, what are the top spots? Think of a beauty pageant. Spelling bee. Write those down because that's ordinal. Interval. I want you to write down 0 does not mean absence. Write that down. 0 does not mean absence. And ratio, 0 means absence. So temperature would be interval. Why? Just because I say 0 degrees, does that mean there's no temperature outside? No. But what if I say that you're 0 days old? That means you ain't been born yet. Now, we could get into a discussion there if y'all wanted to, but we better leave that one alone, right? Mm-hmm. Pick your battles. So I just gave you an example of each. Okay? Remember, interval, temperature. Because 0 does not mean, oh, there's nothing outside. No, you can't do that. And ratio would be like age because it is started when you actually dang old breathe your first breath. Okay? without getting into a lot of stuff we won't want to get into. And there's some examples. Write these down. The number of snack and soft drinks vending machines in the school. That's a ratio, 4:0 ratio. So put vending machines. You can put water fountains. Put doors in the school. Whether or not the school has closed campus policy during lunch. That's nominal. Remember, everything is nominal. So you can just put nominal and just say everything. THANG. Everything means it's different from everything. Just like a whooping is worse than a whipping. And hungry is worse than hungry. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, I don't understand what you're saying, Mr. McClure. Shut up.
Hi there. It's currently
I set the alarm, so it's time for us to quit. Or not? Ain't I organized? I'm organized today. Y'all better write it down because I suck when it comes to organization. Okay, so we're going to stop the recording. Now that don't mean start going into convulsions yet, okay? Now I'm working with you. You got to work with me. So that means that you can start putting up your stuff, but I've got to call the roll and I've got to say things to keep you in here for a few more minutes.